Most people get credit cards completely wrong. You know, credit cards are handy tools, but they can also turn into real nightmares if you don't use them right. They've fueled a culture of consumerism, making the American dream more about material possessions rather than financial security. Today, credit cards are the most common type of debt for Americans, and it makes sense why they're so easily accessible. Even with a low credit limit, there's little stopping you from getting multiple cards and increasing your overall credit. This dependency on debt has made the traditional notion of the American dream, owning a home, financial independence, or stability, unattainable for many. On today's show, we're diving deep into this whole credit card mess. Should you even bother with them? Are you someone who can handle credit wisely, or do you need to just steer clear? Towards the end of the video, I'll share a hack for using credit cards without ever drowning in debt. Stick around, because this might just change how you view and use credit forever. Before diving in, let's take a step back and explore the history of credit cards. How did they even get started, and what has their evolution looked like? Historical context. The journey of the credit card began with the Diners Club card that popped up in 1949. It lets you eat at fancy restaurants around New York City and pay later. At first, it was just for the wealthy, but it caught on fast. Thousands of people and restaurants all over the world were joining the club. In 1958, American Express issued the first plastic credit card, accelerating adoption. Bank of America's 1966 Bank AmeriCard allowed revolving balances, but faced issues with fraud and unpaid bills, early growing pains. For decades, credit cards went through legal battles, discrimination problems, and debt issues. It was chaotic until the FICO credit scoring system arrived in 1989, standardizing who could get approved. Like many new financial products, credit cards started with grand promises, but reality exposed flaws. Research shows Americans are getting worse and worse at responsibly using credit cards. And if history repeats itself, it usually takes a full-blown financial crisis before things seriously change. But wait, you don't have to fall into the trap. That's why we're breaking down all the pros and cons around credit cards. We want you to know if you should even have them, and if so, how to use them the smart way. Pros. Whether you see credit cards as a necessary evil or a handy tool, there's no denying they have their perks. One of the biggest perks is the reward programs. Many people love how convenient and safe credit cards are when they don't have enough cash. However, it's important to only use credit cards if you have the money in the bank to pay off your purchases. Make it a priority to build an emergency fund. Secondly, most credit cards give you at least 1% cash back on what you spend. So if you spend $100, you'll get $1 back. With more competition, some cards now offer 2% cash back on everything and up to 5 to 6% on things like groceries, entertainment, or gas. Over time, these rewards can really add up. Credit cards are also often the first way people start building their credit. They're easy to get, even for those with no credit history. Making a few payments on time can boost your credit score, helping you get better car loans and mortgages later on. Credit cards can also protect your money. If you're wrongly charged or don't get what you paid for, you can report it to your credit card company, and they'll help reverse the charge. This process is usually easy and quick. We could talk about other protections, such as extended warranties, rental car insurance, travel insurance, and more. These can save you money if your travel plans change or your rental car gets damaged. Some credit cards even offer a 0% interest rate for a while. So yeah, credit cards have many benefits, but let's wait a second. These perks aren't just generous gifts, they're baits designed to keep you spending. Here's what you need to know about the dark side of credit cards. Cons. First off, the interest rates are a killer. Credit card interest rates typically range from 20% to 30%, with the average hovering around 24.25%. Compare that to student loans at around 5% or car loans at about 7%. And you can see just how high credit card rates are. It's like paying 4 to 5 times more interest than on other types of debt. Credit cards also tempt you to overspend. The less effort it takes to make a purchase, the more likely you are to spend. Back in the day, people would hide or even freeze their credit cards, but with options like Google Pay and Apple Pay, the temptation is now ever present. Many Americans carry thousands of dollars in credit card debt, which shows they're spending way above their means. Things like buy now, pay later plans and automatically renewing subscription services make it even easier for debt to gradually build up without realizing it. Before you know it, you owe thousands. And that's not the end of it. Late payments can damage your credit score by up to 200 points if you're 30 days late. This one slip-up can set you back years in building good credit. The average American has 3 credit cards, and some have even more. Managing multiple cards can be mentally stressful, especially if you struggle to keep up with payments. The constant worry, stress, and anxiety over money problems really hurts your overall well-being. Since financial education is lacking, many people struggle to manage credit cards wisely. Lastly, credit card debt makes the wealth gap between the rich and the poor even wider. Rich individuals often receive lower interest rates on credit cards because they have higher credit scores and more stable financial profiles. Credit card companies view them as less risky borrowers, so they offer them more favorable terms, like lower interest rates. On the other hand, poorer individuals with lower credit scores are seen as higher risk, so they're charged higher interest rates. So basically, credit card companies are getting rich from the fees and higher interest rates paid by the poor. Now we know the good and bad things about credit cards. The big question is, should you have one? The answer depends on if you can get the benefits and avoid the problems. Responsible use. Credit cards are only good if you pay the full amount each month. If you have paid interest before, then credit cards are not for you. Interest rates of 20 to 30% are much higher than the 1 to 2% cashback or sign-up bonuses the cards give. It's not worth it. Next up, never rely on credit cards for emergencies. Always have some emergency savings you can use instead of going into debt. And never miss a credit card payment. Missed payments mean late fees plus damage to your credit score. Set up automatic payments so you never miss one. Before getting a new credit card, ask yourself, will I actually use the benefits it offers? Don't pay annual fees for benefits you won't use. If a card gives travel rewards, but you don't travel, skip it. Same for dining rewards if you don't eat out often. The smart overall strategy is simple. Spend less money than you earn each month. Many Americans struggle with this when using credit cards. Be honest about your spending habits. If you can't use credit cards responsibly yet, that's okay. You can build credit with a secured card instead. Secured cards require a refundable deposit as your credit limit, preventing overspending. Future trends. Speaking of what's next, let's talk about crypto and credit cards. Some major issuers already let you earn crypto rewards instead of cashback. The implications of easy crypto credit are huge. It could open Pandora's box when it comes to consumer debt all over again. Regulators have their work cut out keeping up. On the flip side, maybe crypto's traceability and the threat of public shaming on the blockchain could finally discourage people from falling into embarrassing levels of consumer debt. Only time will tell how this plays out. And let's not forget the environmental cost of our excessive consumerism fueled by credit card debt. The production, shipping, and disposal of all these material goods we buy is putting immense strain on the planet. Perhaps a modern, sustainable interpretation of the American dream is financial freedom, not ownership of many possessions. Food for thought as we rethink our relationship with credit and debt. So there you have it, folks. For more money wisdom and tips on how to master your finances and build wealth, be sure to check out our other videos. And hey, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share the knowledge with your friends.